we go. Long video coming at ya. Hello, what's up, guys, and welcome to VK Punk Wrestling, your news source for all things WWE, wrestling, and sports entertainment related. Please hit the thumbs up button for this video and be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification button so you'll know when all of our video goes live. Like last night's live stream where we watched the WWE Elimination Chamber and gave our live reactions and sat back and had a couple of drinks with the event. I will be continuing my singles run today with a very lengthy video because we are going to be covering SmackDown and the Elimination Chamber in a Yay-Boo review that only I get to do, apparently. The world has broken down into chaos, and neither one of our other personalities are able to make it on today. But VK Punk Wrestling, we the ones for wrestling content. I am Vin C Punk, and I'm going to talk about Friday Night SmackDown, the go home show for the Elimination Chamber, and then the Elimination Chamber itself. But before I do that, I have to take some time to acknowledge our sponsor. Ooh, what's it over here now? Oh, weird. Capco Championship belts. Capco is a great company. They make replica championship titles and just a whole bunch of other stuff. They have made the flag that's on our usual set. I'm still in the living room after last night's Elimination Chamber. But when we get back to our regular studio, you'll see the flag that's there. He's made a lot of titles that I've showed, a couple of vests that we have. You can go visit them at capcointernational.com or look for their Facebook link and email in our final screen to this very video. We have also commissioned a custom title from them, and it will be used, of course, as the VK Punk Wrestling Championship to be worn by the title holder of our channel, which if you've seen our latest videos, you will know the inaugural champion was crowned after the Elimination Chamber. Our very own Mouth of Mayhem, A.K. Havoc. Congratulations to him for winning our predictions battle. He did very well. I think he ended up getting, let's see, I can kind of see the paper from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He got 10 out of a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of a possible 15, he did better than anybody. And he is our new champion. Okay. Next, I would like to take some time, once again, to apologize for the video before our live stream. I didn't know the camera was shaking like that. We had a bunch of technical problems that day. But I want to thank you guys for understanding and continuing to support our channel. In VK Punk Wrestling, we surely do appreciate you. Please share these videos with your friends. Share the channel. We'd like to get as much support as we can, and right now the best way to do that for us is by clicking subscribe and getting our followers up. Okay, so now let's shift over gears to Friday Night SmackDown, which was right before airtime. Nick Aldis released that there was a change in the show. Shinsuke and LA Knight were canceled, and a one-night tournament for the #1 contender to Shinsuke Nakamura's U.S. title being the thing at stake, which LA Knight ended up winning anyway. Kind of weird how that happened. So it was all kind of a surprise to us, but yesterday I found out that Osamu Nishimura, another Japanese wrestler that Shinsuke was close to, had died, and he is either mourning or on his way to Japan so he can pay his respects to his friends, so they had to cancel his match and just make him do the video thing. And of course, there wasn't really a way to have determined that LA Knight was the #1 contender. He just kind of got it because Shinsuke Nakamura attacked him or whatever. But now LA Knight kind of earned it. He went through the tournament and won the three-way. He kind of earned it now, so I think this is kind of a good right. It was all right. Okay, so when SmackDown goes on air, we're thrown right into a video recap of The Rock again. It's getting a little tiring at this point. Getting so old seeing this so much. I mean, I know who he is and what he draws, but seeing this over and over again really isn't helping anything. Then we get Cody walking up, and he is approached by someone who suggests that he goes to his private dressing room that has been provided by the final boss. Cody looks apprehensive, but then seems to just go with it. I don't think I'm really going to give this a yay or a boo. I'm not going to do that for small little backstage segments and stuff. I mean, unless it really plays into a story and it's kind of long. So right after that, we hear Trish Stratus's music playing, and she makes her way to the ring to give a promo to the Toronto audience. She talks about being her 25th year anniversary and how tomorrow will be the first time she gets to wrestle live in front of her kids, like in their hometown. And when she finishes, she introduces Tiffany Stratton, who gets in the ring with her. They do some weird spots, man. Some of the stuff was kind of awkward. Weird Tiffy Trishy time thing, which I can't stand. The Tiffy time thing was kind of annoying at first, and then it grew on me. But now doing this with the Trishy time thing it's just grating on me. They do some things where they try to time it really closely. That way they can do this "we're so in sync" line before Chelsea Green and Piper Niven come out to interrupt, calling this a snooze fest, and she ain't wrong. She calls them Dumb and Dumber. Then she hits the Canadian crowd, which is where Green is also from. She's also from Canada, with some local heat, and how she's proud to be a representative of the U.S. Championship. This draws heavy boos, as I'm sure due to some political stuff going on between the two countries. She calls the Tiffy and Trish segment tacky time. So Tiffy challenges Green to a match, and Aldis sends down a ref to call it. We come back from the break. The match is underway. It seems Green has the upper hand, but Tiffany stops her momentum with a suplex, and we get some back and forth before Green hits the Rough Rider. Then tries to go for an Unpretty Her, but Tiff gets away and sets her up for the moonsault. The interference starts with Niven and Trish and Nia and Candice. The match gets thrown away as Candice and Nia beat up the field. She keeps setting up to hit an Annihilator on one of them, but the one she's setting up to hit on, their partner will come and save them, and she never really hits anybody. Then Tiff and Trish have some nice cooperative fighting, and Candice and Nia flee. The new bloodline is shown backstage where Solo Sikoa is supposed to be getting his entrance to his U.S. title #1 contender qualifying match, but he gives his spot to Fatu, and he says, "I love you, Jacob." And then we cut to Andrade, who is making his entrance for the tournament. I'm not gonna say anything about that little backstage segment, but we're gonna give the women's segment a yay. I think Green is really hitting her stride with everything that she's doing. I can't believe that I like her so much, because I really didn't like her so much before, but she is just really coming on strong. So Andrade is making his entrance for the match that Solo gave to Fatu. We get a shot backstage of Cody in his private dressing room. The Rock supplied him with, and what a spread laid out for Cody, man, who clearly could never eat at near close to everything that was in that dressing room by himself. I mean, it's way too much, right? And R-Truth appears and just runs with this scene. R-Truth is legendary, and he plays it so well here, and he offers his advice to Cody Rhodes on what he thinks he should do with The Rock. We get coverage back to the ring, and Fatu is making his entrance for the match. Andrade gets an early lead and does an amazing over-the-top Hurricane Rana to Jacob, who is on the outside, flinging him into the announce table, followed by a top rope moonsault. When we come back from the break, Jacob pops up Andrade for the Samoan drop, but Andrade somehow reverses it into this amazing Poison Rana. It was very nice. We get some rope running spots, and Fatu goes down. Andre and Fatu trade corner attacks for a bit until Andrade hits the Meteor and the second chance moonsault for a near fall. Fatu regains control, hits some hip attacks in the Impaler DDT, and then the moonsault for the win. This match was pretty exciting. I really like the storyline that seems to see the new bloodline like realigning in a different way. They're going through a little bit of a shakeup, and I kind of like where this is going. The match was good. I think Fatu definitely should win the match. After that, we get a recap of last week's demolishing handed out to the tag team division by the Street Profits. We cut backstage to Aldis and the Street Profits, where they promise more carnage if they are not given what they want. Legato shows up, demands an apology from the Profits because the Profits had blamed Legato and Las Garza for everything. But this doesn't happen. They don't get an apology. Just a match between Los Garza and the Street Profits. Right away, too, apparently that's happening right now, because as we cut away from that, the Garzas are already making their entrance. Profits music hits, and they start to make their entrance, but DIY jump them on the ramp, and the Street Profits get up to destroy everyone. The Pretty Deadly then come out to join the fray and take out the Profits. Motor City Machine Guns come down and take out Pretty Deadly and face off to the Street Profits. Pretty Deadly return, and this is pure mayhem. Just going back and forth. The Garzas do topes to each team, and security is having a hard time keeping them separate. This was a long subway, and obviously the match goes to no contest. It just seemed like neither team could really get on top. Every time one of the teams would make some progress, he'd get stomped out by a different team. So this was kind of a boo segment. I mean, it was a no contest pretty much, and I just think we should have gave Garza and the Street Profits time. I like what they're doing and how they're trying to revamp them to seem very aggressive and mean, but let them fight. Okay, so next we get another backstage segment where Cody runs into someone who gives him their advice on a situation. This time it's Drew. It seems like everybody's trying to convince him, hey, maybe it's not so bad. But I think this is setting up for Drew to take it at this point. It has to be. We get another Cena recap package, but this one is interrupted by Drew. Talks about John using his stroke to get in the EC with no qualifying match, and just runs down Cena even to his bald spot on his head. Claims he's going to bury Cena. And this brings out Damian Priest, who runs down delusional Drew in his weird obsession with CM Punk. Priest says he's going to take pride in pinning Drew and eliminating him in the Elimination Chamber. And if this, of course, brings out Seth. And when I first seen Seth, I said, oh my God, it looks like he's wearing oven mitts. That, of course, will come into play a little bit more into this story. And after he runs down pass, he says he isn't here to run. After he runs down the pass, he says, I'm not here to run down the past. Because he absolutely did it before he said that. But he says he's here to talk the future in WrestleMania. No one stands a chance at the Elimination Chamber, and this brings out Punk. Punk stays outside the ring, doesn't get in with Seth and Priest, and of course, Drew is still sitting cross-legged on the announce table. Punk gets a lot of crowd reaction and chants. Talks personal issues with the field for the Elimination Chamber. He runs down Seth and his outfit twice, like on two separate occasions. And Punk says something about oven mitts, calls it like his oven mitt outfit or something. So I laughed about that because that's exactly what I said when I saw it. He claims he has nothing against Priest, but Priest will be collateral damage, and whereas Drew obsesses about Punk, Punk obsesses about WrestleMania. and he's going to beat everyone in the Elimination Chamber. And this group just continues to run down each other until wabadoo, John Cena's music hits and the arena goes nuts. But guess what? It's not John Cena, man. Logan Paul, man, who runs down the stupid audience, of course, and the field of competitors. This was all perfect. Paul did it right. He's not so great on the microphone when he talks anymore, but this angle was done right. Play Cena's music, get Logan to get massive heat. I mean, it just worked so well. He runs down Cena as a celebrity wrestler. Once again, Seth's outfit gets run down. He draws some local heat, runs down Drew, gives a stupid priest prayer joke, and Punk runs Paul off. What I got here is Logan Paul's just getting worse on the mic. I thought he was doing okay, but this week, Friday Night SmackDown, and the last time we talked about it, where he squared off with CM Punk in the ring, I feel have not been his best or even close to his best. I feel like before he went away and came back, he was doing all right, like when he had all those other matches and stuff. But I do not feel like he's getting better on the microphone. I feel like he is significantly getting worse. But a yay for this. This was a very good. I mean, everybody just ran down everybody. A bunch of hot mics at once. People talking crap. Logan Paul's trying to talk, and CM Punk is just answering him. But Logan Paul pays no attention to what Punk has to say at those points. But so yay for that segment. We get a video package of the the Elimination Chamber kickoff show with Michael Cole and the confrontation between Liv Raquel and Bianca and Naomi. So just looking ahead, I know we're not getting it to it, but just knowing what I know after the Elimination Chamber, this is so much to come. Like, this was telling a really nice story. Okay. When we come back from break, when we go into the break, we get LA Knight's entrance, and Santos is making his way to the ring when we come back. We get some early back and forth with tie-ups and headlocks and arm bars and some rope running spots. Knight gets some momentum before we go into some more back and forth until Knight is Irish whipped into the stairs on the outside of the ring. We go into yet another break. When we get back, Santos is up and on top, but Knight halts all that momentum, and we get yet more back and forth. Knight gets a near fall, followed by a small hot run, and Santos badly sells a kick. It just didn't look right. And then he goes to like drop toe hold or trip LA Knight or something into the corner, but LA Knight clearly falls short of the corner, man. It looked a little bad. But then we get a top rope Hurricane Rana for a near fall. Escobar C. I love it when he does that. It's funny, and just the comedic timing of it right then was pretty good. And the crowd said C without missing a beat. It was hilarious. But Knight snatches him right out of the air to land a blunt force trauma for the win, and he will advance to the main event triple threat to actually get the number one contendership. This match was good. LA Knight put on an amazing match. I already know how good LA Knight is. I've liked him since Eli Drake. I've liked him since Dummy, TNA Impact. The NWA stuff, the Shoes of a Champion promo, amazing stuff. He's just always been good. Can't get enough of LA Knight. So this match definitely gets a yay from me. And Santos more than pulled his weight here. It's been a little while since he's been on screen. We don't get very many Santos matches, but it's easy to remember that he's, El Hijo del Fantasma, because when he wrestles, man, he is really good, and he really showed it here in this match. So Sami Zayn is now out for an in-ring promo where he runs down his history with Kevin Owens and invites the prize fighter to the ring. However, KO is not at that arena. he is at the Rogers Center where the Elimination Chamber is being held. And he shows up on screen saying he's not the bad guy. And when this is all said and done, he's not going to help Sammy's family when he takes away Sammy's ability to provide for them. Sammy looks a little nervous at this juncture, and KO just ends it with "see you tomorrow," and that's kind of the end of the segment. I guess I'll give it a yay. It was not a very long segment, but definitely plays into a storyline. So we'll give it a yay. It went well. Like it's telling the story, and it was just another part of the story, another good part of the story. So yay. We get a backstage segment where we see Mello don't Miz. Mello still seems like he's getting irritated with the Miz, but Miz seems overjoyed to be part of the part of someone younger and on the rise. Cody comes in the shot where he gets another backstage getting advice from Miz now. Miz tells Cody to take the offer or someone else will. Thumbs up. We get Braun's entrance before break. When we get back, Mello is in the ring. Braun gets a hot start. Knocks Mello's out of the ring, and then of course, choo. Braun runs the train, but Tama and Solo interfere with chairs. Braun gets rid of them and hits them with the chairs. Apparently, Braun throws Tama over the announce table and goes to get back in the ring. The ref is paying attention to Solo and Tama on the outside, and this makes Mello pick up a chair and do the classic Eddie Guerrero spot where he bangs the chair on the mat and then throws it to his opponent, so the opponent catches it and he falls back. Man, great spot. Couldn't have been used at a better time. And Mello gets the win due to his non-disqualification. Braun then attacks Tama post-match with a powerbomb. All in all, yay. I'm going to give it a yay because Mello played this right. I know the story here is Solo and Tama are trying to take the bigger guy out of the triple threat for the end of the night with Jacob. But this was a good angle. It was more of an angle and more of a segment than an actual match, but it just worked. I feel like it did well. I enjoyed it. I loved Mello doing the classic Eddie Guerrero bit. That bit, it doesn't seem to get old if it's not overused. When it's used properly and spread out, man, it's just a good storytelling point. It's good. Okay, so next we go backstage where Naomi and Bianca are talking about their 6-way match, and there's a goofy spot with Bianca's braid. We get the entrances for this match before the break. After the break, we get a picture-in-picture recap of Monday's amazing main event. Liv and Naomi start off this match, but shortly all 6 are in the ring for a face-off. Bayley gives out some crossbody topes all around before another break. When we come back, Bianca is tagging into the match and runs hot on Raquel, suplexes to a near fall, and then mounts her on the top rope for her top rope punches. Naomi tags in, and Raquel gains the momentum back. Roxanne in next. Naomi has some not great spots before Bayley gets in and goes for the elbow and pinfall, but Liv breaks it up. And this match breaks down until Roxanne hits Pop Rocks for the win. What will that mean for the Elimination Chamber? We will get to it later in the show. Suddenly, Alexis shows up and hits a Sister Abigail. Or is it? When she first did this move on a return, I'm like, something is different here. It's not the classic Sister Abigail, and I'm pretty sure I'm right. Right before the execution of the move, right, she kind of like turns her arm and wraps around the head, and just instead of throwing back like this, she comes back into like a DDT. And it's not Sister Abigail. I hear Michael Cole keep calling it the Abigail DDT. And this segment is good. All 6 women in the match did a phenomenal job. It was a lot of fun to watch. A couple nice spots. Naomi, like everybody knows how I feel about Naomi. I've said it. I don't understand why Roxanne is up on the main roster when she's still in NXT. Um, Bailey is always good. I mean, it was just a good match. It worked. So yay. We go backstage, and Saxon is talking with Charlotte Flair about Tiffany and Trish. I'm not going to go into that anymore. Just a boring Charlotte promo. We get Shinsuke's video promo finally in Japanese with the subtitles. This whole thing at this point, before we really knew what was going on, this whole thing has become weird. How we got out of the night match but into a number one contenders tournament. But we now know why this was done. Before we go backstage, Fatu, who sells out on his way to the ring, makes his entrance as always. Before we head into the break, is when Fatu. Okay, so when we come back out, Mello and Knight get their entrances. Hot start to this match with some great multi-man spots. Knight hits the elbow. Fatu gets over on Knight. On the outside, Mello tried to get involved, but Fatu slams him into the post. And we get some back and forth between Fatu and Knight. Mello back in the picture while no one can get control over the other two. Fatu misses a crossbody or a shoulder tackle, crashing into the timekeeper's area. We go into another break, and then Fatu is in control when we get back, destroying everybody. Knight gets a shot in for a near fall. Mello and Knight hit a combination move made of both their finishers on Fatu. For the near fall, Mello goes up. Knight pushes him off into Fatu, who catches him catches him but falls, kind of rolls backwards, rolls through, and hoists him up as he stands up and throws him into the stairs. Knight hits a springboard to the outside that knocks Fatu over the announce table. Everybody is down. Mello hits nothing but net on Knight for the pin, but Fatu breaks it up with a swanton bomb. He hits the moonsault, goes for the pin to win the match. 1, 2, and then Knight pulls him out of the ring and steals the pin to win the match and be the number one contender for the U.S. title, like he already was. So this was a good match. Obviously, it has Fatu in it, who's amazing. It has LA Knight in it, who's amazing. And it has Mello in it, who's really, 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 really good. It makes sense to make Fatu look strong. That way, LA Knight getting the number one contendership is him stealing it from Fatu. It still makes Fatu look strong, which I think was really important. You didn't want him to lose or get pinned, of course, but having him lose in this sort of fashion still kind of keeps him strong and makes him look pretty good. So I'm all for it. This match was great. Yay! And then the final backstage, and in a final backstage segment where Cody runs into the stars, getting their opinions to figure out what he should do with The Rock. This time it's CM Punk, where he questions what it means to sell one's soul. He says he thinks Cody should take it. Cody looks confused, and Punk says, "Yeah, take it. Take it, shine it up real nice, turn it sideways, and stick it up The Rock's, a very blunt message indeed coming from CM Punk. LOL, good segment. I liked it. I'll give it a yay. Okay, so our main event, of course, is Cody giving his in-ring interview with Michael Cole about The Rock's offer, where Cody, in the beginning, can barely get any word out because Michael Cole just has so much to say about what's going on with this situation with The Rock and what Cody's dad would think and what Cody's dad would do, and that Cody is even thinking about doing this shocks him. You can see that Michael Cole is emotionally invested here and is kind of heated about it, which makes him a good character. But he also gets it because Cody would get like a reduced schedule and all the benefits that come with being a top star. And The Rock gives Cody a truck, like an F-150 Raptor, that comes with being, part of the package with The Rock. We cut up to a screen where The Rock is cutting a promo from his bird. He makes a Dusty Rhodes comment and says he's talked to the Dream this week and knows Cody has been too. But all of this means that all of Cody's dreams will come true, and all of his goals and stuff will be obtainable. And then The Rock shows the Cody Soul belt, the weight belt that says Cody Soul, and it has the Dusty Rhodes passing date on it. Really cheesy, kind of vindictive thing to do. Real manipulative of The Rock and stuff. Cody looks around like he doesn't know what to do. But this is a good way to end the show and leave us wondering about the Chamber. I'm gonna say boo for this one. I haven't given out many boos to this show, but this was not the best. The Rock didn't do very well in this promo. I felt like I know I'm nervous and I don't do this a whole bunch before now, at least like this, and I still stutter and say a lot, but The Rock, it just seemed kind of choppy. Like they were like, nah, we don't want you at the show. Everybody got mad that you were at the show last time and everything changed. Just do a promo video. You want me to do the promo video right now? Yeah, just do it right now. We'll send it to him. Okay. And like he just came up with it on the fly. It wasn't the best work of The Rock. Okay, so I mean SmackDown in and of itself, we're gonna give a yay to. A lot of good matches in there. Santos and LA Knight, the triple threat with LA Knight, Fatu, and Mello. Fatu's match from earlier in the night. There's a lot of good stuff happening here, so we're gonna give it a yay overall. So now I'm gonna have to get into the Elimination Chamber event. Is where we go next from here. So let's get this out of the way now because we already know what happened. You're watching my review. You obviously watched it too. So let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room that came after the men's chamber match, which was a great match we'll talk more about later. But everybody already knows that the winner is John Cena, and he turned heel. On his last tour out, and this makes some sense, I'll talk about in a minute. Cody comes out to, after John Cena wins the Elimination Chamber, Cody comes out to address and confront his WrestleMania opponent. But then The Rock comes out too to ask and get the answer for his offer. Strokes Cody's face in a really weird way. It was just a little strange. Says Cody will come to him and will embrace him as his brother, and The Rock will embrace Cody as his champion. And he needs Cody's soul. He needs Cody's soul. Cena is still in the ring. Rock says he needs to know if the answer is yes, they can start the journey. But if the answer is no, then the dream dies. Again. Referencing his father, of course. Cody says that he wants it all. He wants it all. But his soul no longer belongs to him because he gave his soul to this ring and these people a long time ago. Before vulgarly telling The Rock to go F himself, and no, not F, but the actual F word, on WWE TV, even though it's a pay-per or premium live event, they don't say words like that. Everything is starting to get really crazy in WWE, and I really like it. We're getting towards a better product that is a little bit more edgy, and I think I'm gonna like it because I'll explain a little bit more when we get to another story later in the video. So John Cena is still in the shot, and you can see him in the background, and Cody tells The Rock to go F himself, and Cena looks so excited. He's in the background cheering, yeah, that's right, rah, rah, rah. He's actually amping up the crowd for Cody, and just looks so excited and happy that this was his answer. And maybe John has a reason to be happy that this was Cody's answer. We'll find about that in just a second. We get some pointing to the WrestleMania sign. Cena's still in the shot with a smile. McAfee exclaims, this is the quote. this is one of the most shocking things he's ever heard said in the history of saying things. What a great line. McAfee continues to amaze me. There's some standing around in different angles before Cena goes in for a hug on Cody. The Rock does like a little hand gesture, and you can see Cena's face just changes. I mean, the expression change that he did was just so unlike anything I've seen from John Cena. The lack of emotion, the face just dropping before he turns heel and kicks Cody right in the samosas, man. The Rock, Cena, and Travis Scott all just staring at Cody before Cody gets up, and Cena puts Dusty's watch around his hand like some brass knuckles, and he just hammers Cody. Then caps it off by hitting Cody with the microphone and then the title. He lifts the title into the air. Cody gets up again, and Cena hits him with the title yet again, then rips off Cody's shirt to allow The Rock to lash him with that Cody Soul weight belt. Cena and Scott hold him down, and they all just leave Cody in the ring. So first of all, wow. I mean, just wow. We all had this one wrong, folks. I don't think anybody, or pretty close to nobody, had Cena turning heel, because for one, it's his last year in the company before he retires. Why turn heel now when he's been a babyface for so long? But he just seems like a natural good guy, and he wants to get the champion. But this makes sense because this will help him get the championship. I don't not like the story. I do like the story. This whole segment gets a yay. But it was so unexpected. In the end, when Cena won, I was just like, oh, great. He's going to have a match with Cody. Cody's probably going to take The Rock's offer. Especially when you consider it's Cody who's looking at The Rock's offer, and Cena who can just turn heel. It seems like the latter isn't the most probable. But that's okay. I like where this is going. After the event, they did the presser. John Cena just came in, sat down, took the microphone off the stage, and just like pipe bomb dropped it, which was a really nice touch after the men's chamber, which is what we'll talk about in a little while. Oh, okay, yeah. I had Drew in this position. Is what I'm sorry. I can't make sense out of my notes. Like I said, it's been a rough day. Just been a lot of chaos. I had Drew in Cena's position. Sorry if you heard that. My dog just sneezed really weird. And again. Oh, she's okay. So now let's get to the beginning of the actual event, which during the pre-show, the American national anthem gets boos in Canada. I mean, just a lot of boos, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier about there maybe being some political tension between the two countries. Not my place to go into that. I really don't have a say one way or another. But Pat McAfee goes into a tirade over this on commentary. He is not happy at all that the American national anthem got so much boos. But as we get the start of the event, the first match on the card is the Women's Chamber for the opportunity to face Rhea Ripley or Io Sky at WrestleMania. After all the entrances are made, right? It's Liv and Naomi starting off. They're about to close the gate and start the match and hit the bell. Jade Cargill's music hits. She enters the chamber and it looks like she is headed right for Liv, who had started the match with Naomi, but then changes course last minute and destroys Naomi all over the chamber. just ragdolls her around, and then in the end, she takes Naomi's head and puts it like in the slide for the big sliding door, and closes the big sliding chain door on Naomi's head. Naomi is not able to compete, and she's the first one eliminated. It's announced that she's been eliminated due to Jade Cargill's interference. Bianca is in her pod, just losing her stuff, man. She's don't understands what happened. Her two best friends, and one of them is now beat up, and the other one's walking away, and she doesn't really know. You could just tell that's really eating her up. So Liv's left alone in the ring for now until the first entrant is released from their pod. Jade looks really strong here, and it's the best version of Jade that I feel like I've seen since she's come to WWE. Naomi leaves on a stretcher, and then Bianca is actually the first entrant to get out of her pod. With some back and forth between her and Liv, Bianca gets on top, but Roxanne Perez gets her entrance and a classic hot out of the gate pod run. All three women are down when Bayley gets released from her pod and goes right after Perez. Apparently, they have something going on down in NXT right now. And she brings her in the pod and repeatedly smashes her head against the bottom of the glass until Perez is just laying there. She's definitely out of the match for now. Bayley goes over to Bianca and thinks about utilizing Bianca's hair as a weapon or a way to, but then she thinks better about it and just strikes her, just clocks her. We get Perez power bombing. Wait, is that right? Perez power bombing Bayley to the outside? Wouldn't it be the other way? It looks painful anyway. Whichever one it was, it looked painful. Bliss finally gets in, and she gets her hot run. Perez gets a vice grip crossface in on Bayley, who crawls to she crawls out of the ring with the crossface still on, and she gets to like the chain wall, and then she bites Roxanne. I'm not really sure what she did. Anyway, Roxanne breaks the hold. Liv hits Oblivion on Bayley, and Bayley gets eliminated. Bianca follows Liv to the top of the pod, where we get a brutal hair whip spot, and the sound was so loud. I mean, it could have echoed. It was, oh man. There's no other way to put it. It was brutal, and commentary and editors just kept playing it over and over and letting you listen to that slap sound. Man, it was, oh god. So once Liv kind of falls off the top of the pod there, Bianca hits her and the other two with a crossbody from the top of the pod. After an exchange, Bliss hits Twisted Bliss on Perez and gets the fall. Only 3 left, so cool. Some cool multi-man spots here. Liv goes into the 3 Amigos. Bliss hits the Abigail DDT on Bianca, but gets rolled up by Liv, and she is eliminated. She was my pick to win, and she got eliminated that far from the end. I'm really hurt by this. I was really hoping that Alexa Bliss was going somewhere, and she was just going to come right in and go right there. But that's obviously not going to be the case. Liv does some taunting as Alexa's trying to get out of the cage. Really, childish stuff. And Alexa looks pissed. She looks mad. Liv gets swung into the chains by Bianca, a 450, but Liv gets the knees up. Liv goes for Oblivion, but it's countered into the KOD, and Bianca wins the chamber match. But what about Jade in that story? I don't know exactly where this has. I'm not very invested in this Jade Cargill storyline because I haven't really been given a reason to care about her until, like I said, tonight, where I think she looks the best that she's ever looked. But what does it all mean? It's really hard to tell at this point. I think some people fantasy book that this would be the case. That it would have been Naomi or Bianca that beat up Jade and put her on the shelf. But I don't think anybody really thought about where it would go after that. I know that I sure haven't. And also Bianca going to WrestleMania. She has like a mini undefeated streak going at WrestleMania. I don't think she's ever lost at WrestleMania. Kind of like the Undertaker, but a lot smaller and a lot less meaningful at this time. Um, will that streak end, or will she keep it alive and get the title? Uh, really hard to tell. But the women's um, the women's EC match gets a yay. I mean, there's always a couple of spots that didn't fall off. It didn't fall out too well, but they did it okay. So Rhea, Io, and Bianca have like a three-way face-off because Io's like, oh yeah, I'm here too, and I could be the champion. Okay. So next we get the women's tag match. The one that includes Trish Stratus, a Canadian here with Tiffany versus Nia and Candice LeRae. This match was just a promotional match. I don't feel like Trish is going to be hanging around after Toronto and be involved in any of the continued storylines, probably. And this leaves me less than interested in this entire match. The action between the ropes is pretty good. Tiff powers up Nia for a spine buster that looked pretty brutal. But then she takes a little bit of a scary tumble from the top. Not looking that great. Trish hits a Stratisfaction and covers Nia. Candice tries to break it up with like a lion salt, but Trish moves out of the way, and Candice lands on Nia. Tiffany hits her moonsault and wins the match. Canada goes wild. Candice. There wasn't nothing particularly wrong with this match, but there was nothing particularly like well booked. I mean, there was a couple of big spots like in every match, but and the storyline is the storyline just end now because Trish is probably not going to follow through after Canada. I'm less than invested in this match, and I just feel like there could have been other ways we could have went than this because I have no investment in this storyline. There's been nothing to invest me. Trish has been around for 3 weeks, and she's probably not going to be around for another one. So boo for that. And that reason only. Not that any of the performers were bad or not good, because they all were. It was a pretty good match. Next, we have the unsanctioned match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. With their long-standing history, this match was amazing. With a whole bunch of crazy spots. The ref is wearing a different shirt, like an all-black shirt, to maybe say, the WWE has washed their hands. This is unsanctioned, so we can't have a WWE representative out there. So you're gonna have to. I don't know. You're not working for WWE right now, and they gave him another shirt. But later in the match, he would get a ref bump, and then Charles Robinson would come out wearing the WWE shirt. Charles Robinson would get a ref bump, and another would come out wearing a WWE shirt. So, what are the rules here? What are the rules? But before all of that amazingness, we get a good fight. A nice little hockey-style fight to start out, but Sammy looks to be noticing that his neck is starting to, feel hurty or whatever. And we get a chair, which KO ends up hitting the ropes with, and it rebounds into his face. So Kevin Owens hits himself with a chair. Funny shtick, man. Funny shtick. Yeah, it made me laugh. It was good. Sami Zayn gets a hockey stick and waylays in Owen, but Kevin gets the hockey stick from him and kinds him putting in like a weird crossface maneuver while they're standing, and on top of that, just bites Sami Zayn's face. It's a little weird. So, but Sammy puts Owens through a couple of tables, and Owen climbs back into it and hits Sammy with some announce table goodies. Sammy gets up top to be pushed off through 2 tables set up earlier in the match. KO gives Sammy the Fisherman Buster through a chair, like an unfolded chair, a chair that's just sitting there, and he folds it quite nicely. For a near fall, Zayn kicks out last minute. Sami Zayn hits some half and halves. The last one onto the chair that's been set up in the ring. Same chair, maybe a different one. I'm not sure. Owens pulls the ref in the way of a haluva kick, and this stuns Sami. No, and then stuns Sami for a near fall. KO gets mad and takes it out on the ref, which of course is now the second ref because the first one got the haluva kick, and Sami gets Fisherman's Buster through a table from the top ropes. Petey William comes out to plead with Owens, but KO is not listening. He's telling Sami Zayn that this is all Sami Zayn's fault and goes running into the opposite corner for a move. But Sami had followed him up and nails him with the haluva kick as soon as he turns around. Sami goes under the ring to get a barbed wire wrap chair. Is this WWE anymore? When did we do this in WWE anymore? Kind of a weird fallout, but like I said, this will play in once again to something I'm going to talk about like right after this match, to be honest with you. So he, let's see, what's he do? There's some chair shots exchanged. KO, and then KO gets hit with a drop toe hold, and his face goes into the barbed wire chair. Then he kind of sets the barbed wire chair up like a ladder, like a bridge between two other chairs, and hits the Blue Thunder Bomb onto it, and it doesn't give or collapse. If that barbed wire was real, that was a painful spot because he puts Kevin up and puts him down for the Blue Thunder Bomb, and the chair just kind of stays in place, and you can see like Kevin Owens just like wrapped around the man. It was bad looking. Finally, like topples over though. I mean, it didn't give or collapse at all. This gets a near fall. Owens gets outside the ring and wraps Sami Zayn's neck with a chair before ramming him into the post a bunch of times. Hits a couple power bombs on the apron and rolls him inside for the win. Post match, KO beats up security and lifts a section of the padding from the ground to I would assume to put Sami Zayn's up for a pile driver onto the floor. But as soon as Owens gets like the padding ripped up, we get the I hear voices in my head, and Randy Orton comes out, who of course was put on the shelf by KO with a banned move. So KO comes down, hits an RKO, and gets a chair, but you can see the voices talking in his head. He's looking at the chair, and then he's like, no, I think I got something better, and throws the chair away. And he goes back into the corner of the ring to line up for the punt kick. Kevin Owens gets out of the ring and scurries away. Randy Orton RKOs a few security. But this is poetic. So the pile driver is a banned move, right? Not allowed to use it, but it's the move that Kevin Owens uses to put Randy Orton on the shelf, and of course the move he uses to injure Sami Zayn. Now you got him coming in with his banned move, and he's about to hit it on Kevin Owens. Now we're building towards that, and that has to pay off. Of course, Sami and not Sami. I'm sorry, Kevin Owens and Randy Orton will probably be the match for Mania. So, whoa, excuse me. So even though we know who the winner is, let's get into the men's chamber match, which starts with Seth and Drew. Seth runs Drew's head into the pod belonging to CM Punk repeatedly, which CM Punk seems to be tickled about, and he enjoys to no end. Drew gets the upper hand for a weird slingshot into the actual turnbuckle, like the metal turnbuckle, not like the padded corner or the ring post. but the actual metal turnbuckle. Priest gets in, gets his hot run, and delivers a power bomb over the top rope to the outside of the structure. Drew gets a weird Tower of Doom / Tree of Woe spot where he's like hung up in the Tree of Woe, hanging upside down in the corner. He sits up to catch one of them in like a German suplex, and the other, and meanwhile, he has the other guy up. It was a pretty okay spot. It was nothing spectacular, but it wasn't bad. So Seth and Priest are down, but Logan gets in the match. He gets his small hot run before being extinguished by Priest, who bashes Paul into the pod repeatedly. Cena gives AAs to everyone. Logan gets a 5-knuckle shuffle and then set up for an AA, but Drew claymores Cena's face off. However, Priest rolls up Drew and eliminates Drew. Wow. Drew hits a claymore to Priest on the way out, where Paul, on the way out of the pod, just being a bad sportsman. And Paul hits the frog splash from the top of the pod to eliminate Priest. Punk gets in and faces off with Cena in the center of the ring. Seth Rollins jumps in and beats on Punk for a while, and turns to Cena, and you can hear him say, Punk is mine, you stick to making movies, or something like that. Logan hits a double buckshot lariat to Punk and Seth, and goes for another one to Punk, who gets out of the way and crushes the GTS on Paul for the elimination. The final three are Cena and Punk and Seth. Cena and Punk use the Heart Attack co-op finish on Seth from the Hart Foundation. Cena and Punk hug before they brawl. There's a whole bunch of reversals. The AA into the STF, into the Anaconda Vice submission. It's a pretty nice spot. It was done well. Punk gets AA'd, and we have a near fall. Cena gets thrown straight through a pod glass by Seth. Seth and Punk are in ring. GTS gets reversed into a pedigree, but only gets the near fall. Punk lands a Macho Man elbow drop and tries to hit the GTS, but Seth reverses it into a buckle bomb and a stomp for a near fall. Seth goes berserk because Punk is just kicking out of everything. Seth gets up on like the second rope to go for a super stomp, and Cena interrupts with hoists him into an AA. Seth wiggles free, but only to end up right into the hands of Punk, who sets him up for a GTS, which then sets Cena up for the AA, and Punk gets the pin. Seth is eliminated. Good tussle between them. It's a nice spot. But CM Punk is kind of left with his head hanging out of the ropes as Seth is making his exit because he's still in the chamber. And on his way out, he hits Punk with the stomp to the outside of the ring. And Cena realizes the situation. He knows that Seth Rollins just helped him win this match. So he gets right in position, doesn't even think about it. Punk, who's almost out, who's probably pretty much out already, he locks in the STF, and the ref calls it. Cena wins the men's elimination chamber. So we already went over the main event segment at the beginning, but that's when all the stuff happens with The Rock and Cody. Just a lot of good stuff here. Of course, Cena turning heel at the end, and the whole way we're going with this story, I think it has a great... man, I hate when I can't think of the words that I'm trying to use, and then I get like a lot of blank air because I'm trying to think. But I think it has a lot of promise. It could go places. It could be something, but is it going to be something? I'm not sure. But that is an amazing thing. Cody going into WrestleMania against corporate Cena is kind of something nobody probably saw coming, but an amazing storyline nonetheless. And especially if we can get, this whole Cena turning heel opens up a lot of possibilities, and I'm trying to just hope for the best. apparently this is maybe The Rock's storyline. Allegedly, I don't know for sure to say it, but of course this whole angle came when he came in and just started running the show, I guess. It's not terrible. It could be though. Um, it's not good at the moment. It could be though. It has a lot of promise, and I can't wait to see where it goes. So for the women's elimination chamber match, Liv Morgan had the performance of the night of her life. I think she did so well in the women's chamber. KO and Sammy was a really good match. Really extreme, really exciting, really powerful, really good. I can't think of any more talking points from this. I mean, where do we go from here? The next stop is WrestleMania. Um, we got Rhea and Io tomorrow night for the championship, and then we just start building to Mania. It looks like it's gonna be a pretty good card so far. We have Gunther versus Jay, Cena versus Cody, Rhea or Io versus Bianca, and then Charlotte versus Tiffany, which I really don't care about Charlotte, but I will be excited and hope that Tiffany wins that match because I definitely think she deserves it. She shouldn't just get this hot run that she's been on and let Charlotte come back into the fold once again and just take it from her immediately. I don't like that Charlotte does that. But other than that, I mean, we'll see. We'll get some more stuff going after Monday Night Raw and figure out what direction stuff is taken off in. So this week in wrestling, we'll probably start all those directions now that we are past the Elimination Chamber. And anyway, that's my yay boo segment. The Elimination Chamber gets a yay. I don't think it got one boo, did it? Oh yeah, the women's tag team match got a boo. But everything else from the chamber was simply amazing. More of this, more of these stories. Hopefully, the Cena story plays out well, and I will be definitely more than open to more of them. Otherwise, I don't know how I feel about The Rock just coming in and stirring everything up the way he's done. We'll have to see. Apparently, there's a lot of frustration backstage with him over this whole deal, but who knows? In the long run, it might pay off. So let's see what it does before we jump to conclusions and judge him too harshly. Once again, I am Vin C Punk, and the channel is VK Punk Wrestling. Go and hit the like button, give us a thumbs up for the video, and then go to our channel page and... Oh, actually, you might not have to do that. You can subscribe right in this video. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when our videos go live, like this very video or the live stream we did yesterday. You will be made aware. Please share with your friends. Try to support us a little bit, and that's how we'll get there, is with sharing and subscribers. It's gonna be an interesting month and a half of wrestling. I can't wait. Another shout out to our sponsors, Capco International, Capco Championship Belts, CapcoInternational.com. And until next time, we the ones. We the ones for wrestling content.